Hello there, this is DBT and this Art of Runes. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt Legends Unite, and today I'm gonna be covering a couple of topics related to recent changes to the game. First, I'm gonna talk about the multiplayer feature that is kind of returning, which is a big W. We lost it in Asphalt 9, it's kinda back here now, I love it. I'm also going to talk about the update in the Nintendo Switch, which had been delayed, and now that it's here, well, we have an idea of what happened, what changed, what's new, all of that. And also, I'm going to talk about sounds, because you know how DBT is related to sound, so yes. All of this is going to have timestamps in this video, so you are able to jump to the topic that you care the most about. But before I get into it, you know what to do. Please hit the like button on this video if you do enjoy my content, and I mean it. Do it, in that way the channel can continue growing, and I can continue making these videos for you. And hey, subscribe, it's free, why not? But alright, the very first topic that I want to talk about is multiplayer. What is this feature that I'm talking about? DBT, what are you talking about? Well, we still have the regular multiplayer, right? We got the World League, we got the Season Series, split screen, the private room, and sometimes we have the one with the cups, or whatever that game mode is called. But I want to look at this one, MP2. Why is that? Because now we have free tries. Now, I do own the Kachingar 21C. I did unlock it. I made a video about it. Link is in the top right if you want to watch that. But I only got the car to 2 stars. But over here, we got a free try at gold. Whether you own the car or not, it doesn't matter. You got a free try of that. And that's not the only one. In fact, all of the cars that are featured in the Overclock Showcase, those are the ones that you're going to be able to find over here with free tries, like the Mercedes Vision 111, which I do not own, but over here, they also give you a free try at gold. Now, like I mentioned, it's all of those cars. So, for example, you can also find, I think it's the McLaren, the Genti Aquilone, the McLaren something number that I can never remember because that's what they do with those names. Yeah, there it is. 570 Spider, so on and so forth. So you will be able to find a bunch of cars that are free try, and that is honestly such a big W. In fact, let's drive a very slow car. Let me find it. Ah, yes, there it is. The Ferrari F50. Why? Reasons. Because I really have never had a chance to drive this thing really at gold, so I want to see what it can do. I've driven it earlier today when I was testing this whole thing, and I found it to be okay. Now, why am I hyping this up? You might be wondering, DBT, but it's MP2. You cannot get anything in MP2. There's barely any rewards or anything like that. Yes, perhaps you're right in that sense, but this is what I was saying, that this is a feature that we lost in Asphalt 9. When we transitioned into Asphalt Legends Unite, this feature was lost. And that is the free tries of the cars featured in the season. You know, or maybe you don't know. I don't know, maybe you didn't play at the time. But in Asphalt 9, anytime that there was a new season, you would have a multiplayer series in which, and by the way, it was MP2, for 1 week you had free tries of the cars of the season. Now, it was a little bit weird because it was a full of the cars. So, for example, you would find F50s like this fighting against the 111, fighting against the Kachingar and all that stuff. So they were not exactly fair fights, but at least you could drive the cars a little bit and get a feel of them and whatnot. I love having that, even if the rewards weren't amazing, simply because that gave you an opportunity to play with these cars that maybe if you're someone that is not spending a bunch of money in the game, it's very likely that you're not going to be able to get all of those cars. So it's kind of nice to have an opportunity to drive them, to test them out, to hear them, to feel them and whatnot, right? I love that. But since Asphalt Legends Unite introduced this new format of MP2, which I love, by the way, I love this MP2, I've said it a bunch of times. It allows to bring a lot of cars that normally you wouldn't bring in the old multiplayer one. But ever since this was implemented, we lost that thing of having free tries of the cars of the season, and I really miss that. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna do a little bit of a test with the Vision 111 because, hey, once again, when have I been able to drive this thing in multiplayer, huh? Now, this whole thing of Multiplayer 1 and Multiplayer 2 in Asphalt Legends Unite has been extremely divisive. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people like myself actually like it, regardless of where you're at in that sense. I did say before that what I wish GameLoft would have done was to add an MP3 series of the free try of the season cards. You know, like I was mentioning that it was in Asphalt 9. And, you know, since we don't always have the cups, whatever it's called, the Pursuit, I think, since we don't always have that MP3 available, MP3 as in Multiplayer 3, not the sound file. Well done, DBT. you know, since we don't always have that multiplayer 3 available, well, why not in the seasons, or rather the weeks in which that one is not available, why not, of course, why not add that other multiplayer like we used to have in Asphalt 9? But actually, as I was saying, I think GameLoft did an even better situation by adding as free tries for MP2 the cars of the season. And I said that this is better because over here, well, you get the free tries of the cars, and then on top of that, the matchmaking still happens by the car rank. So that is kind of interesting because, like I said, in the old multiplayer 2 in Asphalt 9, it would be the Ford F50, which is a terrible car, versus the Kachinga of Class S. Obviously, that would make absolutely no sense. And over here with the matchmaking of MP2, well, at least you get to see what the car would do. However, this still brings the same issue that has been present all along that we've talked about since this MP2 was introduced, and that is how the ranks of the cars don't make a lot of sense. And now with this matchmaking that it's allows quite a bit of difference of rank and how some cars are incredibly overranked and whatnot. Yeah, you're gonna find yourself in a situation where a car like this one, the 111 that reaches what, like 380 or something without nitro. Whoa, okay. That is gonna get matched up against other Class S cars that are gonna go like 500 kilometers an hour. Like I think I saw there's a Venom F5 over here. So yeah, regardless, I mean, listen, this has been a problem all along, and until GameLoft decides to rework the ranks of the cars, which honestly I don't believe that they will ever, but if they did, that would be the only way to fix this. So for the meantime, we have what we have, but I'm just glad to finally have a chance to play with all of these cars, the cars featured for the season. And by the way, I did say that these are the ones from the Overclock showcase. I don't know if that's exactly what it is. Oh, Jesus Christ. How did I crash there? I should have done a wall ride. Instead, I got a wreck. Okay, whatever. It's fine. I don't know if that's exactly the cars that are being shown over here. I believe that they are the ones that get the free try. But either way, it's the cars featured in the season, so there we go. I don't believe, for example, that the Aston Martin Valor, it has a free try, but then again, that's because I don't believe that's in the showcase either. So yeah, whatever. So yeah, there it is. Look at that Hennessy Venom, which is someone that obviously does own this car. And you can see a bunch of people driving the Kachinga 21C because that's the free try. So yeah, and the Mercedes-Benz Vision 111, it's being matched against them, even though obviously it's nowhere near as good a car as those. But hey, whatever. Like I said, it is what it is. Now, here's something annoying when you're doing this, though. When I'm playing with a car that I don't actually own, once I get back into multiplayer, it would normally select the last car that I used. But because I don't own the Vision 111, even though it's a free try, it doesn't automatically select it. So I have to rebrowse to find it. Over here is showing me or selecting the Kachinga 21C because that car I do own. At 2 stars, but I do own it. So that's why it defaults to selecting my, in theory, best car. Now, obviously, over here, it's a free try, so might as well do it. Oh, great, and now we get into Buenos Aires, a track that is famously not good for non-agile cars. I still don't quite understand the role of the Kachinga. I'm perpetually calling it that, by the way. So, I don't know, it looks to me like it would have been an amazingly agile car, but it's not. It doesn't drift very good, but whatever. Someone told me in a previous video, like, yeah, this is a waste of a car for your resources. Like, yeah, but I only wanted to unlock it because I want to play with it in what's it called? Either in MP2 or play with it in Quick Race against the AI, whatever. It's fine. Look at this drift. It's what the heck was that? Man, I just don't understand what this car is meant to be. It's not particularly fast. For having the rank that it has, it's not particularly fast. And oh god, it does have a great acceleration, sure, but then when it's not agile, then what is the point of this car? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, whatever, I'm not here to complain about that. I'm here to celebrate the fact that I can now play with these cars. Man, I really miss this feature, and like I said, I do believe that GameLoft split the difference there between what it was and what MP2 now is, and they did the best, which is adding as free try the cars of the season in regular MP2. And that's fantastic. Honestly, I absolutely love this, even if I get terrible results because I don't know how to drive these cars. It's fine. Then again, one thing to consider over here is the fact that, you know, for example, this car, the 111 or whatever it's called, the Apple Mouse car, you know, 6 stars, 3 fuel, so you only have your 3 fuel unless you have the Legend Pass or Unite Pass or whatever, then you have the additional fuel like I do. But still, you know, even 3 fuel is better than no fuel to test the car, right? Whoa. Oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna talk about that. This, you're seeing all of this stutter? Now, in case you haven't figured it out by now, I'm playing right now on the Nintendo Switch version of the game because, like I said, this finally got updated technically yesterday. So, oh god, yeah, I couldn't do that. So I want to talk about some of the changes that I've noticed. Keep in mind the stutters because this is one of those things that I want to talk about with this version of the game, which is honestly very unfortunate. This update on the Nintendo Switch is questionable. But hey, one thing at a time. For now, this whole thing of having the free tries of the cars here in MP2 makes me think that whenever the MP1 season ends and the new one begins, or sub-season or whatever they're called, now at that point is when we're gonna have the cars that are gonna be the free tries at max star -1 in MP1. You know how they said we have a free tries of certain cars that you don't own, but you only have them at 1 star, so they're still not competitive. Gameloft did say that they were gonna change that and it was gonna be to the maximum amount of stars -1. So if it's a 6-star car, you would have a free try at 5 stars. If it's a 5-star, a 4-star, you know what I'm saying, right? So I think that's what's gonna happen, but then again, I don't know just yet. We can only wait, hope, and yeah. Now, like I said, the update to the Nintendo Switch is here. It was delayed. Fortunately, it was only a couple of days delayed, and now it still is not great. I wish it would have released at the same time. Not that we missed out on anything. When I say we, I mean the Nintendo Switch players. Not that we missed out on anything, but you know, it's just a little bit concerning to be thinking that this is going to be the normal thing, right? For there to be delays on the Switch version. I really hope that in the future, Gameloft can schedule this better so that it all releases at the same time. But either way, so what changed over here in the Nintendo Switch? Well, I already talked about the changes that the new patch brought in the global version. I'll put the link in the top right if you want to watch that. But overall, I was talking about some of this animation, like here in the home screen, having this animation playing, the issue of the perpetually claim your rewards now. Can I do it now? Yes, I can. In case you don't know, let me show you. So you see how right now I have 4 objectives done, right? And when you get to 6, you get to claim the bonus of tokens. So for example, right now, I need to do 2 more. So let me upgrade a couple of things. Like my Nissan GTR 50 it'll design. Sure, let me upgrade it a little bit. I'll put one of this, one objective done. Do I have? Okay, I'll apply another one just for the sake of it and be able to apply one of this. And there we go. There it is. Apply import parts to a car. Done. And the gold combo done. Fantastic. Okay, let me go one screen back. So I get into this screen and the game is like, hey, you got your stuff, don't you want to claim it? Now normally you can just exit this and get to another screen and whatnot, but over here it's like, no, I'm not gonna do it now, let me do something else. Hey, but you got stuff you want to claim, are you sure you want to? Okay, I've made this, I talked about this before. So this message is persistent, it's just gonna be pestering you there over and over and over and over and over. You can't do anything until you claim this. So you gotta claim it, and then you can continue doing your other stuff. I personally like to do as many things as possible before I claim everything, just, you know, because that's how I am. But this is not a big issue. Whatever, I've already talked about this. No, what I wanted to talk about here on the Nintendo Switch, and the thing that I was the most interested about was the graphic settings. Now, I already, again, made a video talking about all the graphic settings on Windows, and in that video I did say that the graphic options were, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking over here, game settings, the graphic settings, right? I did say that the amount of options you would have over there would vary depending on the device in which you're playing. On the Windows version, I had a gajillion options, right? In Android, for example, some people reported like, oh, I only have a few options and whatnot. Well, what do we have here on the Switch? And this was very important to me because I've been wanting to tweak the settings on the Switch to disable bloom, maybe to disable some effects here and there. So I was really excited. I went in and I got nothing. That's right, not a single graphic settings. What the heck do we have this menu here for? Oh man, this is so annoying because I legit wanted to turn off bloom. You don't know why I wanted to turn off bloom? Because bloom looks horrible here. How horrible does it look? Let me show you. I've already talked about how I don't like bloom in general. When it's too much on your screen, you see it too much. But man, well, you know what? Maybe this is not the best map to show it. Oh, you know where you will be able to see it? Great, what I want to show you in Nevada. Let me find a race in Nevada. In that other video that I was talking about, where I explained the graphic settings, I talked about what bloom is, and I gave you a bit of a comparison of what it looks with and without bloom in a very, very, very exaggerated case. So in general, I don't like all of these bloomy effects. You can see them on the screen right now in the bottom left. You see those light shine, that light shining because of the sun and whatnot. I don't love those effects, but Well, okay, I don't love them because in my eyes it makes the screen look dirty. Like my screen is dirty and is reflecting a bunch of light in that way. I don't like that very much. I don't absolutely hate it, but when it's overdone, and in some maps it's incredibly overdone, I find it obnoxious. But another reason is because the bloom, or rather, another reason why I didn't want to have bloom over here is because it looks absolutely terrible in super dark areas. And I want you to focus on my exhaust once I get into the tunnel of this track. So, for example, right now, if I use my nitro, you can kind of see not only the fire, but this little halo, yellowy halo around it, right? That is what the bloom is. And over here, it doesn't look terrible. That's fine. What I want you to do is focus as soon as I get into the tunnel, see how I will have that bloomy effect around the fire of my exhaust, but see how blocky the effect looks as I move. And that is because it's a very low resolution. Check this out. You see it? You see how as I move, look at that bloom and see how it moves really blockily. You can almost count pixels there with how blocky this effect looks. I hate it. That's a very, very low quality bloom. And in my opinion, having a horrendous bloom effect and versus not having bloom at all. Listen, I'm not saying that everybody should live without bloom. I'm saying that I would love to have an option to turn it off because I don't like how it looks. Jesus. So yeah, we got absolutely no graphic settings over here. We can even change the frame rate. When the game originally released, we did have the option to change between 60 and 30 FPS. I'm not asking for 120, obviously not. But 30 and 60, that's alright. And it's not that I want to set it up to 30, but we don't even have that option anymore. We don't have a single option to do anything. So that is kind of annoying. I don't know why it's there, the graphic settings. I really hope that they're gonna change this to allow us to turn some stuff off, you know, like turn off the God rays, turn off reflection, turn off the bloom. Not that I want to turn all of that off, but you know, to have those options to improve maybe the performance a little bit. And then, as you saw in multiplayer, we have that issue of the stutter. I don't think that's related to the graphics of the game. So regardless of if you have even lower graphics, I don't think that would improve that stutter. That stutter just seems to have been introduced over here. I don't know what that is about, but a lot of people are reporting to have this issue specifically on the Nintendo Switch. So that is definitely unfortunate because those stutters can cost you races. And obviously, playing an MP2 is not a big deal because, well, whatever. In fact, let's try it again. And the game is like, oh, how about I give you Osaka? Because your car is great at drifting, right? Enjoy. But yeah, let's see if we get the stutter issues. Like I said, they seem to be pretty consistent. I don't know if in every single race, but definitely very noticeable when it happens. So far it seems to be performing relatively right. I haven't noticed any stutters. But either way, yeah, it's a bit of an unfortunate situation. I hope that can be worked out. Figure out why we're getting these stutters. This race, oh, by the way, can you see the bloom over here as well? Okay, we didn't have as much of a chance to see the blocky bloom, but whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that gets fixed. And speaking of things that I wish would get fixed, what happened with the sound in the game again? I talked in that other video about how some people were reporting that the engine sounds were lower and whatnot, and I did mention in that same video that we have had this issue on the Switch for a while. Well, now it seems even worse than when it was. So that is a bit unfortunate. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about after I finish this race, because I might just actually end up winning this. Wouldn't that be cool for DBT to win something for once? Oh God, no, did you see? It was a stutter. When I touched the wall, I went into a stutter, and that just cost me my race because I couldn't steer in the same way that oh man. It wasn't as big a stutter, but it's a stutter nonetheless, and that is seriously annoying. Okay, whatever, moving on. Now, some weeks ago, I made this video where I was talking about the sounds in the game and how the game has a weird balance of volumes in general that hide the engine behind a bunch of other sounds. And I'm gonna let you listen to what I said in that video. I'll put the link in the top right also if you want to watch the entirety, but check this out. So, in this video, I'm going to show you what the game sounds like now and what it could sound like if the engine sounds were improved and prioritized more. And what I mean by that last part is that Asphalt Legends Unite as is
has considerably
quiet engine sounds. This you will hear now, it's the default sound mix of engines and general sound effects. To be fair, Asphalt Legends Unite does a better job with the sound mixing than Asphalt 9 did originally. And you probably noticed that correction I did with the female voice, because in the script of the video when I was writing it, I put that the engine sounds were extremely quiet, but upon reviewing it at maximum volume, I realized that they were just somewhat quiet, not terrible, at least in PC. But now what I want to show you is the comparison again between the PC version back then and how the Switch sounds now. So to me, that's completely unacceptable. I mean, can you hear the engine? Yeah, but the rest of the sounds are so ridiculously loud. In order for me, and these are the settings that I personally use in order, and I had to check a lot of this. I did a lot of tests before I started recording this video to figure out what were the volumes that I felt comfortable with. Basically, I had to set up my sound effects all the way down to 30% and my general sound to 70% while keeping the engine to 100%. What this does is precisely to make the engine still pop out, still be able to hear all the sound effects without them drowning every single other sound, or rather drowning the engine as badly as the general settings do. I also tweaked the volume output so that you wouldn't go super deaf over here watching this video. But yeah, this should give you an idea of why I don't understand what is the deal with this. Why are the engines, or rather, why are the sounds different in the global version? The sound mix, and by sound mix I mean, you know, what is more audible than what is what not. Why is it different in the global version or in PC than it is over here? That's the part that I don't understand. The volume should be the same, but I cannot use the same levels because otherwise this just doesn't work. Like I said, this particular setting as I have it right now is the one that I seem comfortable with. I can hear the engine, I can hear the nitro, I can hear just about everything, and I think this works fine without making me deaf. So, I don't know, what you think? You like this one? And please don't mind me for doing a little bit of car hunt action over here, because, man, I am doing the car hunt for the Ferrari F50. It may not be a great car, but I still want to start it up. In fact, I've talked about before how I think that the low star cars are now the stars, you know, pun intended, are the stars of MP2. I think the cars of low stars are the ones that are the most balanced between performance and the rank. So while the car itself may not be amazing, at the rank that it's gonna be at, and the performance of the car, I think it's pretty decent, because it's like, what, 2500? And it goes pretty fast. So I don't know, whatever. The point is that I am working on this, because of course I need to get some stuff going here for my car hunt, but yeah. So overall, the update on the Switch, in my opinion, other than the sound issue, it's kind of not particularly interesting in any way. I don't think it did anything necessarily amazing. If anything, maybe it brought a little bit the issue of the stutter in multiplayer. But hey, at least we got the update. It was only a couple days late, which is better than, you know, the last update that took I don't know how long for it to release officially. Whatever. No, not the last update. Whatever update it was. It took quite a while. But yeah, so overall, meh, whatever. This update didn't make me particularly excited. I was excited when it was gonna release, but now that I see that I cannot turn Bloom off for the life of me, then I'm no longer as excited. Well, whatever. Overall, it doesn't seem to be a terrible update, and hopefully they're gonna continue working on it diligently to fix these little issues here and there, because there's also some navigation issues that may be present in all of the console versions of the game, given that those are to be used with controllers as opposed then with the touchscreen. But anyway, have you noticed other issues in this version of the game? If you play the Switch version specifically, have you noticed any issues that I have not noticed myself, or even in global? What do you think about this update overall? But that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, once again, hit the like button, subscribe to all of that good stuff, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.